Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for chapter 4 of our audio play production of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Here with us today to bring this to life, we have our amazingly talented cast. We have Jax playing Harry Potter and the Bishop chess piece. We have Leaf playing Ron Weasley. Sriya will be playing Hermione and Filch. Finn will be playing Hagrid and Professor Quirrel. Saturn will be playing Dumbledore. Tanakiin will be playing Snape. Kora will be playing Madam Hooch. Foxy will be playing Lee Jordan. Lamis will be playing Neville. Silver will be playing George and Seamus. Bellissima will be playing Fred and Angelina. Taryn will be playing Draco Malfoy. Marcus Flint will be played by Mari. And we have a few other roles scattered throughout our players. Just to give everybody a brief heads up, the live performance occurred last Saturday on December 12th. Unfortunately, we had a very brief technical difficulty during the performance, so here we are re-recording it to get a better recording for everyone to enjoy. Because of that, a couple of our actors may or may not be here for this recording today, but of course, to see their credits, please see the owl post in which it was listed for them. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Chapter 4. Harry, Ron, and Hermione sit together. Harry ignores his breakfast, but Ron, as usual, is stuffing his face.
Take a bit of toast, mate. Go on.
That's right, Harry. You're going to need friends today.
I'm not hungry.
Good luck today, Potter. Then again, now that you've proven yourself against the troll, a little game of Quidditch should be easy work for you, even if it is against Slytherin.
Snape smiles and limps away toward the Slytherin table.
That was disturbing.
I tell you what's disturbing. Snape smiling.
That explains the blood.
Blood?
Last night, Ron and I saw Snape heading for the 3rd floor. I'm guessing he let the troll in as a diversion, tried to get past the 3-headed dog, and got himself bit. That's why he's limping.
Why would anyone go near that dog?
Listen, the day I was at Gringotts, Hagrid took something out of one of the vaults. Said it was Hogwarts business, very secret.
So you are saying
That's what the dog's guarding. That's what Snape wants.
But what's safer than Gringotts?
One place, according to Hagrid. Hogwarts.
well, whatever it is, it must be really valuable.
Or really dangerous.
Just then, an owl swoops into the room.
Bit early for mail, isn't it?
That's Hedwig.
They all watch as she swoops down with a long, thin package. Harry slips Hedwig a piece of his uneaten toast and strips open the parcel to find a sleek mahogany broomstick.
It's a broomstick.
That's not a broomstick, Harry. That's a Nimbus 2000.
But who...
Harry glances up and sees far across the room Professor Mcgonagall looking his way before she quickly turns her way. The stadium is full. Ron and Hermione join Neville and Seamus in the Gryffindor section and unfurl a banner that reads Potter for President. As the Slytherin and Gryffindor teams take the field, the crowd roars. Oliver Wood runs up alongside a nervous Harry who clutches his new Nimbus 2000.
Oh God.
I know what you're thinking, Harry. I'm playing my first game of Quidditch. The entire school's watching me, and worst of all, it's against Slytherin. Am I right?
Pretty close.
It's alright. I felt the same way before my first game.
What happened?
I don't really know. I took a bludger to the head about 2 minutes in. I woke up in hospital a week later.
Madam Hooch clad in referee robes, addresses the players.
Now, I want a nice clean game from all of you.
She glances tellingly at Slytherin captain Marcus Flint. Harry leans over to Angelina Johnson, a Gryffindor chaser.
Who's he, Angelina?
Marcus Flint, Slytherin captain. They say he got troll blood in him.
Harry swallows as Flint glares at him murderously.
Mount your brooms, please.
Hands trembling, Harry waits. Then the whistle blasts. 14 broomsticks rise into the air. As the crowd roars, Madam Hooch kicks the crate, releasing 2 screaming bludgers, then tosses up the quaffle. In the stands, Lee Jordan does the commentary.
Quaffles up and straight off taken by Angelina Johnson of Gryffindor. What an excellent chaser that girl is, and rather attractive too, I might add.
Professor McGonagall casts a disapproving glance at Jordan, then turns to watch the action below.
And she's really belting along up there. I need past till she's spin it. Back to Johnson and no. Slytherin have taken the quaffle, and off he goes. Flint flying like an eagle up there, he's going to no. Stopped by an excellent move by Gryffindor keeper Wood, and Gryffindor takes the quaffle. That chaser Katie Bell of Gryffindor there. Nice dive around Flint of up the field, and ouch, that must have hurt. Hit in the back of the head by a bludger. Quaffle taken by Slytherin. That's Adrian Pusey speeding toward the goalpost, but he's blocked by a second bludger, sent his way by George Weasley. And Johnson's back in possession of the quaffle. A clear field ahead, and off she goes. She's really flying, though she's a speeding bludger. The goalposts are ahead. Come on now, Angelina, keeper of she dives. Mrs. Gryffindor scores!
As Gryffindor cheers fill the cold air, Hagrid makes his way down to the stands, scattering students in his wake.
What's up there? Clear the way. How's Harry holding up?
Ron and Hermione squeeze together, giving Hagrid space.
He hasn't had much to do yet.
First game, he stays out of trouble. That'll be doing enough.
Above the pitch, Slytherin's Adrian Pusey eludes 2 bludgers, 2 Weasleys, and the chaser, zooming toward the goals, when suddenly a flash of gold zips by his left ear.
The snitch!
Far below, Slytherin seeker Terrence Higgs makes his move. Harry dives. Faster than Higgs, he closes the gap quickly, eyes locked on the tiny golden ball. He adds some speed, reaches out, and wham! Marcus Flint hits him full on, sending him reeling. Harry pulls up his broom, levels off, and glances about, but the snitch is gone.
Foul! Foul!
Foul!
Foul!
As a bludger screams past Harry, he tries to kick his broom higher. Instead, it lurches, nearly tossing him off. Below, Hagrid peers through his binoculars and frowns.
Don't know what Harry thinks he's doing. If I didn't know better, I'd say he's lost control of his broom.
Maybe something happened to it when Flint blocked him.
In the stands, people gasp as the broom rolls over and leaves Harry dangling from one end. Neville buries his face.
No, can nothing interfere with a broomstick except powerful dark magic. No kid could do that during the Miss 2000.
Hearing this, Hermione grabs Hagrid's binoculars.
It's Snape. He's jinxing the broom.
Ron takes the binoculars and looks. Snape sits muttering in the opposite stands, staring into the sky, staring at Harry.
Jenks in the broom. What do we do?
Leave it to me.
As Hermione dashes off, Ron turns the binoculars back to the sky. Harry hangs from the broom with 2 hands while Fred hovers nearby. George circles about 10 feet below.
What's George doing?
Just in case you fall, George will catch you.
I knew I should have gone out for football.
What's football?
Hermione fights her way through the Slytherin faithful, who cackle at Harry's plight, towards Snape.
Take a good look, lads. With any luck, we'll be having Potter soup for supper.
Just then, Hermione brushes past him, sending Malfoy head over heels into Professor Quirrel in the row below. Reaching Snape, Hermione crouches down, whips out her wand, and across the field, Ron peers through his binoculars to watch.
Come on, Hermione.
Just then, blue flames spit from Hermione's wand, climbing quickly up Snape's robes. Snape continues to mutter, staring skyward. Then, realizing he's on fire, looks away. In the commotion that ensues, Ron sees Hermione scoop up the blue fire into a little jar, slip it into her robe, and make her escape. Instantly, Harry's broom stops jerking. He clambers back on when, swoosh, a flash of gold streaks by him. The snitch! Higgs zooms up from below, and he and Harry give chase. The snitch swerves and dives. As it plummets, Harry and Higgs plummet too, giving it all they've got. On the pitch below, Hermione puts her hand to her mouth. In the stands, Neville buries his head again. As the snitch drops, the ground rushes crazily upward, the speed breathtaking. Harry seems intoxicated by it, slightly crazed, eyes riveted to the fluttering snitch, seeing it and only it. Higgs, on the other hand, sees only the ground rushing up at him, and at the last minute he can bear it no longer. He pulls up on his broom and swerves to safety. As Harry and the earth collide, the nimbus cartwheels away, and Harry rolls off, coming up on all fours, clapping his hand to his mouth as if he were about to be sick.
Well, that's unfortunate. Understandable, but unfortunate.
As Harry coughs, Hagrid takes back his binoculars, which, unfortunately for Ron, are still around Ron's neck.
Unfortunate nothing. He's got the snitch.
Harry shoots his hand in the air. The crowd roars. Marcus Flint touches down, fuming.
He didn't even catch it. He swallowed it.
Rulebook discriminates against catching the snitch in your mouth or any other place for that matter. In fact, in a game played in Greece in the late 17th century.
Thank you, Miss Granger. We can dispense with the more unattractive historical details of the game. Nevertheless, your point is well taken. Match to Gryffindor!
As Harry's teammates lift him to their shoulders, Hermione spies Snape in the far stands, limping quickly away, his robes still smoking. Later that afternoon, Harry, Ron, and Hermione walk with Hagrid toward his home, a wooden hut on the edge of the dark forest.
Rubbish. Why would Snape put the curse on Harry's broom?
Who knows? Why was he trying to get past that three-headed dog on Halloween?
How do you know about Fluffy?
Fluffy?
That thing has a name?
Of course he's got the name. He's mine. Bottom of an honest bloke I met in the pub last year. London with Dumbledore together.
Yes.
Don't be asking me anymore. That's top secret that is.
But, Hagrid, whatever Fluffy's guarding, Snape is trying to steal it.
God, swabble. Snake's a Hogwarts teacher.
Not. Hogwarts teacher or not, I know a Gen X when I see one, Hagrid. I have read all about them. You've got to keep eye contact, and Snape wasn't blinking.
Now listen to me, all three of you. You're meddling in things that shouldn't be meddled. It's dangerous. What that dog's guarding is strictly between Professor Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel.
Hagrid stops, furious with himself, then turns for his hut, where Fang, an enormous black boarhound, greets him.
Nicholas Flamel. Why does that name sound familiar?
It's now December, and snow falls, dusting the castle turrets and blanketing the grounds. Hagrid drags a giant Christmas fir toward the castle, Fang trotting happily by his side. Nearly Headless Nick swoops about a towering Christmas tree, running garland over the limbs, while Peeves plucks ornaments from the branches, hurling them to the floor. Listen up, as the lake is...
As the lake is frozen, all students going home for holiday will take a flying sleigh to the departure platform. Earmuffs are strongly recommended.
Harry and Ron pay no attention to the students bustling about them, sitting alone by the window playing wizard chess. Unlike Muggle chess, these figures are alive. Presently, Harry's bishop looks cross.
Me there. Can't you see his knight? Send him. We can afford to lose him.
The bishop points to a pawn. Harry sheepishly complies.
Queen to pawn 6.
Ron yawns as his queen steps forward and, with extreme prejudice, disposes of the pawn. Hermione, huge trunk in tow, arrives just in time to witness the carnage.
Oh my god, that's barbaric.
That's Wizard's Chase. I see you're packed.
I see you are not.
Change of plans. My parents decided to go to Romania to visit my brother Charlie. He's studying dragons there.
You can help Harry then. He promised to keep looking in the library for Nicholas Flamel over holiday.
Oh, we have looked 1,000 times.
Not in the restricted section.
I think we've had a bad influence on her. Happy Christmas, Harry.
Harry rubs his eyes and sees Ron wearing a maroon sweater over his pajamas. Ron tosses him a present.
I've got presents.
What'd you expect? In your hands from Hagrid? And by the looks of that lumpy one. Mum's bought you a Weasley sweater.
Harry opens Hagrid's and finds a wooden flute. As he blows it, Hedwig cocks her head. It sounds like an owl. Harry takes up the next parcel. It's very light, and he reads the note attached.
Your father left this in my possession before he died. It is time it was returned to you.
Harry tears the paper away and finds something shiny and translucent slithering to the floor.
It's some kind of cloak?
Well, let's see then. Put it on.
As Harry takes the cloth, we watch Ron, who's watching, and then
Ah!
Harry's head is floating in midair. Ron looks on in awe.
Harry, do you know what this is? It's an invisibility cloak. Really rare. Who gave you this?
There's no name. It just says, use it well.
Later that night, in pitch blackness, a match strikes, floating by itself in midair. It drifts toward a lamp and lights it. The lamp floats eerily among the books, then rises and illuminates a sign, Restricted Section. The lamp floats into the room, the invisibility cloak drops bit by bit, and Harry appears.
Flamel. Nicholas Flamel.
Harry runs his finger along the spines and stops. He takes a large book from the shelf. Running his hand over the coarse leather, he opens it, and at once it begins to shriek. Harry slams it shut, but it goes on wailing. Stumbling back, Harry tips over the lamp, and all goes dark. Footsteps ring out. Frantically, Harry shifts in the darkness, looking for the cloak, panicking when his hands disappear. Pitching the cloak over himself, he dashes to the door, just as it clangs open, revealing Filch. As Filch's pale, wide eyes stare straight ahead, Harry glides right past him. Then he dashes into the corridor, the book's shrieks continuing behind him, before he comes face to face with Snape and Quirrel in the midst of a heated conversation.
Have you found out how to get past the beast of Hagrid's yet?
But Severus,
Me as your enemy, Quirrel.
I don't know what you.
You know perfectly well what I mean. Your little bit of Hocus Pocus.
Harry walks slowly, carefully around them, trying not to be heard. Snape stops, as if he's felt a small breeze. Then he turns and sees soft feathers of vapor. Snape reaches out to touch them. Inside the cloak, Harry puts his hand to his mouth to stop his breath. Snape finds nothing in front of him, so he turns back to Quirrell.
We'll have another little chat soon, and you've had time to think over and decide where loyalties lie.
The door behind them slowly opens and closes, quietly, carefully. Then Filch appears from around the corridor and walks up to Snape and Quirrell.
Professor, I found this in the restricted section. It's still hot.
Then they can't be far.
Snape, Quirrell, and Filch all hurry off. Harry drops the cloak and exhales, absently rubbing his scar, wincing mildly. As his eyes adjust, he sees a magnificent mirror as high as the ceiling across the room. On the frame is an odd inscription.
Ah!
Harry turns, as if expecting to see someone, but finds only the dark shapes of desks and chairs of the empty classroom he's in. Slowly, he turns back. In the mirror, Harry sees his own startled reflection, and beyond him, a man and woman.
Mom? Dad?
Back in the boys' dormitory, we find a sleeping Ron.
Ron, wake up!
Ron squints in confusion. Then Harry lowers the cloak.
There's something you've got to see.
Harry drags Ron to the mirror.
Come look, it's my family.
That's you, Harry.
Look in it properly. Go on, stand here.
Harry steps aside, and Ron takes his place and freezes.
There, you see him, don't you? That's...
Me! Well, I'm head boy, and I'm holding the Quidditch Cup. And bloody hell, I'm Quidditch captain too. Harry, do you think this man shows the future?
How can it? All my family are dead.
The next morning, the hall looks deserted as the students who remain eat breakfast. The Weasleys chatter amongst themselves, laughing. Then Ron looks away and sees Harry staring into the distance.
Want to play chess?
No.
Want to go visit Hagrid?
No.
Harry, I know what you're thinking, but don't. There's something not right about that mirror.
Later that night, Harry sits back before the mirror, completely transfixed.
Back again, Harry.
Harry turns. Dumbledore slips off a desk and sits beside him.
I see that you, like so many before you, have discovered the delights of the Mirror of Erised. I expect by now you realize what it does.
It shows me my family.
And it showed your friend Ron himself as the head boy.
Harry looks surprised. Dumbledore just smiles.
I don't need a cloak to become invisible. I'll give you a clue, Harry. The happiest man on earth would look into the Mirror of Erised and see only himself exactly as he is.
So then it shows us what we want. Whatever we want.
Yes and no. It shows us nothing more or less than the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts. You, who have never known your family, see them gathered around you. Ronald Weasley, who has always been overshadowed by his family, sees himself standing alone. Remember this though, Harry. This mirror gives us neither knowledge or truth. Men have wasted away before it, even gone mad. That's why it'll be moved to a new home tomorrow. I ask that you do not go looking for it again, Harry. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.
Can I ask you something, Professor? What do you see when you look in the mirror?
I see myself holding a pair of thick woolen socks. One can never have enough socks, Harry. You'll do well to remember that as well.
Hermione, book in hand, quizzes Ron, who seems more interested in the pack of chocolate frogs in his hand.
You again. What are the three most crucial ingredients in a forgetfulness potion?
And I'll tell you again, I forgot.
And what, may I ask, do you plan to do should you get that question on final exams?
Crib off you.
You will not. Besides, according to Professor Mcgonagall, we are to be given special quills bewitched with an anti-cheating spell.
That's insulting. It's as if they don't trust us. Dumbledore, again.
As Ron tosses the wizard card onto the table, Harry watches it spin. Just as a smattering of laughter erupts across the hall, Neville is hopping like a bunny, legs stuck together, while Seamus trails after him.
Leg blocker curse!
Malfoy.
Neville, breathing hard, reaches the Gryffindor table. Then, before anyone can catch him, topples to the floor.
Oh, you've got to start standing up to him, Neville.
How? I can't stand up at all.
I offered to do the counter curse, but he wouldn't let me.
Not
Of course
so
not.
funny.
That's all I need.
My bloody
For you to
kneecaps on
set my
fire.
bloody kneecap on fire.
I don't appreciate that insinuation, Longbottom. Besides, if anyone cares to notice, my eyebrows have completely grown back.
As Seamus turns away, the others see a curious bald spot on the back of his head. Ron takes out his wand.
All right then, Neville. Who shall it be? Me, Hermione, or...
I found him.
Ron stops, sees Harry holding up Dumbledore's wizard card. Ron takes it.
He's bowling. So what? He's always bowling.
Harry rolls his eyes and turns the card over for Ron to read.
Dumbledore is particularly famous for his defeat of the Dark Wizard Grindelwald for the discovery of the 12 uses of dragon's blood and his work on alchemy with his partner Nicholas Flamel.
I knew the name sounded familiar. I read it on the train that day.
Hermione steps right over Neville.
Follow me.
Hey, wait,
Hey,
what
wait.
about the counter curse? Neville's eyes shift. Seamus smiles and raises an eyebrow. Back in the library, Hermione takes a large book on alchemy and it hits the table with a loud thud. Hermione flips through the pages as Harry and Ron look over her shoulder.
But I checked this out to go for a bit of light reading.
This is late.
Of course, here it is. Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Sorcerer's Stone.
Harry and Ron glance at each other and then Hermione.
The what?
Oh, honestly, don't you two read? Sorcerer's Stone is a legendary substance with astonishing powers. It will transform any metal into pure gold and produces the elixir of life, which will make the drinker immortal.
Immortal?
It means you'll never die.
I know what it means.
The only stone currently in existence belongs to Mr. Nicholas Flamel, alchemist who last year celebrated his 665th birthday. That's what Fluffy's guarding on the third floor. That's what's under the trapdoor. The Sorcerer's Stone.
So Flamel knows someone's after the stone, gives it to Dumbledore to keep safe at Hogwarts, not realizing that the one who's after it
Teaches at Hogwarts.
So Snape wants powers of golden to live forever. Who wouldn't?
Hermione closes the book, troubled by something.
What is it, Hermione?
I don't want to scare you, Harry. It's just, if all Snape wants is the Sorcerer's Stone, why did he try to kill you that day on the Quidditch pitch?
Harry ponders this, but he doesn't have an answer. Harry, trailed by Ron and Hermione, knocks on Hagrid's door. The door rattles and opens a crack, and Hagrid peers out.
Oh, hello. Not to be rude, but I'm not really fit to be entertaining, right? Well,
We know about the Sorcerer's Stone.
Everything in Hagrid's hut is oversized. Hagrid adds wood to an already roaring fire and putters about a large simmering kettle.
Snape, blimey, you're still not on about him, are you?
Hagrid, we know he's after the stone. We just don't know why.
Harry, Snape is one of the teachers and on protecting the stone. He's not about to steal it.
What?
Yeah, heard me. Snape was one of the teachers and on protecting the stone. Now, as I said, I'm a bit preoccupied at the moment.
Wait a minute. One of the teachers?
There are other things defending the stone, aren't there? Spells, enchantments.
That's right. Bloody waste of time, you'd ask me. Think no one gonna get past Fluffy. Not a soul knows how except me and Dumbledore.
Crack! A clicking sound is heard coming from the kettle, then a curious scraping sound. Harry looks and sees a huge black egg.
Hagrid, exactly what is that?
Well, that's,
I know what that is. But Hagrid, how did you ever get one?
won it. Off a stranger in the village. Think he was glad to be rid of it. To be honest. Blimey.
The scraping is furious now. Quickly, Hagrid takes the egg from the kettle and sets it on the table. Fissures spread like veins over its surface. Then it explodes, shell flying like shrapnel. Harry, Ron, and Hermione cover themselves.
Is that a dragon?
That's not just a dragon. That's a Norwegian Ridgeback. My brother Charlie works with these in Romania.
Isn't he beautiful? Bless him. Look, he knows his mummy. Hello, Norbert.
Norbert?
Well, he's got to have a name.
The dragon blinks at Hagrid and screws up its little face and sneezes, spewing forth a shower of sparks, which send Fang whimpering and kindles a brief blaze in Hagrid's beard.
Needs to be trained up a bit, of course. Hey, you there!
They all turn, and peering through the window in at them is a face.
Malfoy.
They leap to the door and see Draco's figure racing across the grounds, disappearing into the night. Harry, Ron, and Hermione quickly walk towards the glittering castle.
Hagrid always wanted a dragon. Told me so the first time I ever met him.
But it's crazy and worse. Malfoy knows.
I don't understand. Is that bad?
Mr. Potter, Mr. Weasley, Miss Granger.
Up ahead stands Professor McGonagall, her jagged silhouette in the castle light. Beside her, Draco Malfoy grins arrogantly.
That's bad.
Harry, Ron, and Hermione stand before a displeased McGonagall, while Malfoy looks on, practically quivering with pleasure.
As every school child knows, dragon breeding is against our laws, has been ever since the Warlocks Convention of 1709, and for good reason. It's hard to keep the muggles from noticing us if we've got a 30-foot Ukrainian iron belly running around the back garden.
Norwegian Ridgeback.
Professor McGonagall's eyes shift and narrow on Ron.
I just meant, in this case, sorry.
Personally, I don't care if Hagrid has a Chinese fireball sitting in his kitchen, Mr. Weasley. He answers to Dumbledore. You, on the other hand, answer to me. Nothing, I repeat, nothing gives a student the right to walk about the school at night. Therefore, as punishment for your actions, 50 points will be taken.
As the others gasp, Malfoy's eyes glimmer with cruel ecstasy.
50?
Each. And to ensure it doesn't happen again, all 4 of you will receive detention.
Excuse me, Professor. Perhaps I heard you wrong. I thought you said the 4 of us.
Indeed. You see, Mr. Malfoy, how whenever your intentions, you two were out of bed after hours. You would join your classmates in detention.
And that concludes Chapter 4 of our audio play. A huge round of applause for our amazing actors. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us. And please stay tuned in January for Chapter 5. Thank you very much and happy holidays.